Hey, what's up everybody? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and the last Marvel Legends review that I want to do today is a comparative review of the Doctor Doom figures. We have the Ronin wave right here, and then whatever the wave series these older ones are from. This is really the same figure, just two different ones, but this one doesn't have his gear on. Let's go ahead and start with the cheaper, uglier, junkier one. Like I said, this is the same figure. They come with this base right here, which is actually a pretty nice base. A little statue thing. Or not statue, castle. They both have the hood and the mask and everything. They're the same figure, except this one is the variant. I just don't happen to have his gear on him. So when you take the mask off, this one is the Doom bot with the Terminator style head in there. Otherwise, this is what, of course it's not going to snap on. I think it might be molded differently inside. I'm not sure if it actually is or not. It might be why it's not snapping on. Probably. But either way, if you get this one, it's going to have the mask that looks identical to this. It'll snap on better though, and it'll have the same exact cape and hood as this one. Personally, I think this figure is pretty trash. It's the only good thing about it is the paint job. It's nice and worn. The metal looks nice and worn, and then the green is a nice looking green. Good shading and everything throughout. Although the cape is just like this really ugly, almost black, dark green, and it just kind of sits on him a little bit junkily. I don't care for it too much. But whatever, you know, it is what it is. The mask looks pretty cool. It doesn't have the more modern look for Doom, but it's still a decent mask. And the head in there, the Doombot head, is actually really well done. I really like that. As for articulation for this guy, it's the same for both figures. The neck is actually on some kind of joint. I don't know what it is, but it moves around a little bit. It might have a little bit more motion even. But I don't know. It might be, whatever. And then the head spins around on top of the neck. It looks like it's actually a ball joint. Yeah, it's a ball joint in there. So the head's got a little bit of motion. Ball joint shoulders. I think this might even be wave 1. I'm not sure. It's one of the first batch of Marvel Legends. Bicep swivel is up there. It's a cut joint that doesn't look the best. It's hidden when it's straight up and down, but when you turn it, it doesn't line up. He's got a single jointed elbow, hidden well with the sculpt there. It looks pretty cool. Wrist rotation at the wrist itself, and a finger hinge, which actually makes a pretty decent fist. Same thing on this side, except he has a pointer finger. So there it is. The sculpt on the hands is done pretty well. I like the details on the fingers, the little grooves there. He has no ab crunch. The waist twist does work, though it's hidden inside the top of the belt, so that's there. This is a soft material, so it doesn't impede the articulation too much. He has these old school style Marvel Legends hips, so you do get the full range of motion technically, but it's pretty hindered by the skirt thing. Thigh swivel is built in there, pretty well hidden. Single jointed knee, kind of well hidden, not the best. Single joint ankle, obviously, toe hinge, and a little bit of an ankle rocker. So not bad for being one of the originals. It's not too bad at all. He does have a holster here. This one has his gun. He has a holster here for his gun, which does stay in there. I just still have the rubber band on it from when it came out of the package. So there's the gun. It's not supposed to be bent like that, obviously, but he does. It's a nice little gun. They did a good job with this. If I didn't bend it, it's nicely sculpted and painted well enough. And he can hold it, I guess he's supposed to hold it with his pointer finger, but he holds it well enough, so no complaints. Excuse my sniffling, my allergies are going nuts today. Oh wait, one last thing. He's got little booster packs on his back there. So that's this older version. The one I don't really recommend unless you're going to get the Doombots. The Doombots are pretty cool. This is the newer version made by Hasbro. If you'll notice, the green is not textured at all, so that's a downside. And the green's kind of more of an emerald green rather than a forest green. I definitely prefer this color over this one, and the texture over the non-texture. But that's it. That's the only place this one excels. Otherwise, I definitely recommend this one. The hood is much more menacing. The cape is done a little bit better. These are a little bit big, but it's okay. I mean, they're not too bad. It does come off. So if you take it off, the head's clearly too large for the body. And the mask isn't nearly as silver as it should be. If everything was this color where the neck is, it looks kind of blue maybe on camera, but it's not so bad. I would go with that color throughout. He's got different shades of silver throughout the neck, and then the head, and then the arms. They're all kind of different, but with the hood on, it's not really too noticeable. It looks pretty much the same. So just keep the hood on and you're good. The mask does come off. In my opinion, this is a much better mask. It looks much more like the Doom I know anyway. Maybe you guys prefer the other one, I don't know. His face is fugly though, so leave the mask on. Doesn't look good. Looks like somebody smeared poo on it. And nobody likes poo on their figures, so leave the mask on. And I should really repaint this guy to make him look silver. But I don't collect custom, so I won't do that. Anyway, let's get going. He's got the regular hinge there in the neck, head swivel there, ball joint shoulders, no bicep swivel. The bicep swivel goes around like that. It's built into the elbow, which is a single joint. Wrist rotation in the gauntlet, no hand articulation at all. No details really in the fingers, just a little bit there. So it could be a little bit better. Same thing on this side, except this side is a trigger finger for his gun, which is in a really nifty holster. It's just a little bit lacking in the detail department. The pistol, it might even be the same pistol, just in a different color. I think it is. I think it's the exact same mold. It's not, but it's really close. Either way, this pistol is the same type of pistol, but it's all black, and he does hold it much better because he has the actual trigger finger instead of just a pointer finger. So he holds it really nicely, and it comes in this nifty holster with the little sash or strap or whatever. So that's a pretty nice touch. Put that back in there and close it up. See, really nice. He has this kind of torso articulation, so he's got full range of motion in there. It's kind of limited, but it is there, and he does have a waist twist as well. So a little bit extra. He's got the jetpacks here. They're not black like this one. These ones match his neck, which is still not really the same as the rest of his body. The belt on this one doesn't have the D on it, but it's painted a little bit more realistically. And this one's just solid brown with gold on it, but it does have the D. As far as the hips go, same style hips, slightly different shape, but you've got the side to side and then the forward and back, limited by the stiff skirt thingy. No thigh swivel on this guy. The swivel is in the knee against it. This is a Hasbro mold, but it's okay. The knee's there. The knee pad's actually separate. Is it for the glove or? Yeah, the elbow and the knee pads are both movable, so you can block the hinge to make it look a little bit better. I really do like that. And he has the more gauntlet or what do you call these kind of boots? I don't know what you call them, but he's got these boots that have the kind of like the scales on them. So he's got the ankle rotation, ankle pivot, no rock in this guy at all. So that's kind of a downside, but the boots look way better if you compare the two, or throw it on the floor. If you compare the two, the Hasbro one's much nicer looking, and his plastic is molded in like this metallic silver. So as long as you have the cape on and don't notice the difference in the different shading when they do use some paint, his silver looks kind of more realistic than this one, which is just painted silver with black dirtiness on it. So overall, we'll compare the two that are completely geared up. You guys can decide for yourself. Personally, I'm a fan of the larger, more classic styling of Doom, but there are definitely some positives and negatives for each one, so it's up to you guys. Let me know what you think. This one's my favorite. I do recommend this one, but this one's not terrible either. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. I have one more review, guys. Watch that one. Let me know what you think, and in the meantime, keep collecting.